What if a name meaning luck hid a warrior destined for God's final battle? Born in the shadows of a family feud, Gad, one of Jacob's sons, carried a name that whispered of chance but roared with destiny. From a maidservant's womb to the sealed 144,000 in Revelation, his tribe's story is a biblical mystery that's been overlooked for centuries. Genesis calls him a son, Jacob calls him a fighter, and God calls him faithful. Who was Gad really, a forgotten son or a divine weapon? Let's uncover the truth behind this enigmatic tribe, a story that might just mirror your own. Comment 777 if you're ready to dive in. Hit that like button to keep this truth alive and subscribe. This journey will stir your soul. A child of conflict, Gad's birth. Picture a woman caught in a desperate rivalry, her heart torn by love and loss. This is Leah, Jacob's first wife, watching her sister Rachel bear children while her own womb stays silent. In her pain, she turns to her maidservant Zilpah, giving her to Jacob to bear a son in her place. When Zilpah holds a boy in her arms, Leah cries out, "A troop comes!" and names him Gad, Genesis 30:11. It's a moment of triumph, but it's layered with sorrow. Gad's name, tied to the Hebrew word for luck or fortune, feels like a fragile hope, masking the sting of a sisterly war. Have you ever felt like your victories came with hidden pain? Share in the comments. Your story might connect with someone reading. The word Gad is more than luck. It's a spark of divine mystery. In Hebrew, Gad can mean fortune, destiny, or even an unexpected act of God. It's not a name of love or faith, but one that carries tension, as if Leah's naming him was both a prayer and a plea. Zilpah, a voiceless servant, fades into the background, her son bearing the weight of her silence. Gad enters the world not as a cherished heir, but as a child of conflict, born from a substitute womb in a family divided. What does it mean to carry a name that echoes struggle? Let's dig deeper. Hit that like button if you're intrigued. Gad's birth isn't just a footnote in Genesis. It is the start of a tribe that defies expectations. In the ancient Near East, names were prophecies, declarations of destiny. Leah's choice of Gad wasn't random. It was a cry for meaning in a messy story. Was she claiming a blessing or clinging to hope amid rivalry? The Bible doesn't say, but it leaves us a clue. Gad's life and his tribe's legacy would be anything but ordinary. This overlooked son was set to become a symbol of God's bigger plan. Jacob's blessing, a prophecy in code. Fast forward to Genesis 49, where Jacob, old and frail, gathers his 12 sons to speak blessings over their futures. For Gad, his words are short but heavy. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Genesis 49:19. It's one line easily missed among the longer blessings for Judah or Joseph, but it's packed with power. The Hebrew wordplay is stunning. Gad sounds like Gadud, meaning troop or raiding band. Jacob's not just blessing his son, he's weaving a prophecy. Gad will be attacked, overwhelmed, but he'll rise to strike back. Can you feel the weight of a destiny that promises struggle but ends in victory? Comment below. What does this stir in you? This isn't poetry for poetry's sake. It's a coded oracle. Jacob's words paint Gad's tribe as warriors, battered by enemies but never broken. The structure is deliberate, suffering first, triumph later. It's a pattern woven through scripture, from Joseph's slavery to Jesus' cross. Gad's blessing is a promise that his people will face battles but emerge stronger. What if your hardest fights are setting you up for a comeback? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep unraveling this mystery. The brevity of Gad's blessing doesn't mean he's less important. In Hebrew literature, short lines often carry deep wisdom, like a single spark igniting a fire. Gad's destiny is conflict, but also resilience. His tribe would live on the edge, not in Canaan's heartland, but across the Jordan, in a land of raiders and battles. Yet they'd stand firm, proving God's faithfulness. This is no accident. Gad's story is a divine blueprint, a shadow of battles still to come. The tribe of Gad, warriors on the margins. Gad's tribe wasn't destined for the spotlight. When Israel entered the Promised Land, Gad, along with Reuben and half of Manasseh, chose land east of the Jordan River, wild, rugged, far from the center of power. Numbers 32. It was a place of constant threat, where raiders struck and battles raged. Jacob's prophecy came alive. A troop shall overcome him, Gad's people faced attack after attack, yet they didn't crumble. They fought back, just as Jacob said, becoming known as fierce warriors. Have you ever felt like you're fighting on the edges, overlooked but still standing? Hit that like button if this resonates, and let's see Gad's strength unfold. Moses' blessing in Deuteronomy 33:20-21 adds another layer. Blessed be the one who enlarges Gad. He lies down like a lion and tears the arm, yes, the crown of the head. He chose the best land for himself, for there a commander's portion was reserved. Gad wasn't just a survivor. He was a lion, a leader, executing God's justice. This tribe, born from a maidservant, rose to carry divine authority. They didn't just defend their land. They fought alongside their brothers to conquer Canaan, refusing to rest until all had their inheritance. Numbers 32:18. What does it mean to fight for others, even when you've got your own battles? Comment 727 to join this story. Gad's marginal status mirrors so many lives, especially for African American believers. Our ancestors knew what it was to live on the edges, plantations, ghettos, places of struggle, yet they fought with faith, building communities, singing hymns, claiming God's promises. Gad's story is theirs, overlooked by the world, but chosen by God. Their land wasn't the richest, their name not the loudest, but their courage echoed through generations. Does Gad's fight feel like yours? Share below. Your voice matters. Gad in Revelation, the sealed warrior. Now comes the most stunning twist. Gad, the son called Luck, the tribe on the margins, appears in the Bible's final book, Revelation 7. Among the 144,000 sealed from Israel's tribes, Gad's name shines, chosen for God's end-time army. But there's a mystery. The tribe of Dan is missing, replaced by Gad and others. Why? Jacob's blessing for Dan called him a serpent, Genesis 49:17, a hint of betrayal, perhaps tied to idolatry, Judges 18. Gad, though, is sealed, a testament to his faithfulness. What if God sees your endurance when the world overlooks you? Hit that like button if this moves you, and let's unpack this. Revelation 7:5 lists Gad among the 144,000, a number symbolizing God's faithful remnant. Dan's absence and Gad's presence scream a truth. God doesn't care about your start, he cares about your heart. Gad, born of a servant attacked by troops, rises to eternal honor. It's not about lineage, it's about loyalty. Dan had the pedigree but fell to apostasy. Gad endured, proving faithfulness wins. Can you imagine being chosen by God despite your struggles? Comment below. What does this mean for your faith? This moment in Revelation is a theological bombshell. Gad, the overlooked, stands among the sealed, a warrior in God's final plan. It's as if God says, I see the forgotten, the fighters, the faithful. For African American believers, this hits home. Our history is full of Gads, people dismissed, marginalized, yet standing firm in faith. From slave cabins to modern streets, their prayers and perseverance mirror Gad's journey, proving God honors those who endure. Gad's legacy, a mirror for us. Gad's story isn't just ancient history, it's a mirror for the church today. Jacob's prophecy, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last, is our story too. The church, like Gad, faces attacks, doubt, persecution, temptation. Yet we're called to fight, not in our strength, but in God's. Gad's tribe didn't chase glory. They fought in the trenches, stayed faithful and won. Are you ready to stand firm even when the world pushes you aside? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's inspire each other. Gad's life reflects the Christian journey, suffering first, victory later. Jesus said, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." John 16:33. Gad's battles, his marginal land, his sealed status, they point to us, the church, called to carry God's justice with humility and strength. Like Gad, we're not always in the spotlight, but God sees us. He seals us for his purpose, just as he sealed Gad. What battles are you fighting that God's preparing you for? Hit that like button if this truth stirs you. For African American believers, Gad's story is a powerful echo. Our grandmothers prayed in fields, our fathers marched for justice, our communities held fast through trials. Like Gad, we've been attacked, but not destroyed, overlooked, but not forgotten. Gad's name, once luck, became a banner of resilience, a reminder that God turns pain into purpose. Does Gad's story remind you of your own fight? Comment 777 to join this journey, and let's keep it going. A call to endure Gad's mystery is a call to endurance. From a maidservant's son to a sealed warrior, his story shows God's heart for the overlooked. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. Gad was born in conflict, attacked by troops, yet stood among the 144,000 because he stayed faithful. His life asks us, are we ready for God's final battle? Are we fighting with faith, trusting His plan even when we're on the margins? This isn't just Gad's story, it's ours. Every trial you face, every moment you feel forgotten is a cherith, a place where God's shaping you. Gad's tribe fought for their brothers, carried God's justice, and stood sealed in eternity. You're called to the same. Are you preparing for your place in God's plan? Subscribe to keep uncovering these truths, share this video with someone who needs hope, and comment 777 to stand with us. Thank you for diving into Gad's mystery with me. May his story stir your faith, strengthen your fight, and remind you, God sees the overlooked and He's calling you to overcome. Until next time, keep standing, keep trusting, keep shining.